Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while since I've posted, but I wanted to do a video about my favorite products that I purchased in 2022. I may do a blog post, or I may do like this video and the blog post, a combo of the two. I don't know, I just thought this might be better in video format. So I've gathered a bunch of things here. I'm going to just talk about them in no particular order. And I didn't buy a whole lot of stuff in 2022. I mean, I kind of bought, it depends on what your definition of a lot is. I bought more in 2022 than I did in 2021. And I do anticipate buying more this year than I bought last year. But a lot of the things that I bought ended up being things that I liked because I was very careful about the things that I bought. I very thoughtfully chose the things that I purchased. I didn't just buy things willy-nilly. But I did find a lot of things that I really liked and I want to share with you because hopefully you'll like them and you'll find some new things to add to your life. So first up, I'm going to talk about eyeshadow palettes. Probably the majority of the things that I bought were eyeshadow palettes, and I have several of them here. I will say, out of the stack that I have here, that my top favorite ones are these two from ABH, the ABH Nouveau Palette, which is this one, and the ABH Rose Metals palette. And I like these both for the quality primarily. The quality of these is outstanding. I don't know what ABH did when they revamped their formula, but the mattes are amazing and the shimmers are amazing. I would like to see in this formula some different color stories. These are very neutral, both of these palettes are, except for the lavender that is in the Nouveau palette. But in this formula, I think this would be amazing with like more colorful stuff for summer and spring. So hopefully they will release some stuff in this formula later this year in more colorful varieties. And then earlier in 2022, I bought the Urban Decay Wild Greens palette. And I don't think the quality of this is quite as good as the ABH formula, but I'm including this one just because I had so much fun with this palette. The color story was so much fun to play with. I thought everything was well chosen. And I didn't feel like a lack of creativity with this shade selection here. And kind of makes me want to bring it out and play with it again. And another one that I picked up and I didn't give enough attention to, just personally playing with it, and also on the blog and here on YouTube, is this one by Patrick Ta. This is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2. There's more to the name. What is the name? Maybe not. Maybe it is just the Major Dimension 2 palette. So this one is kind of like the ABH Rose Metals a little bit, but that one is has more of a variety of neutrals, and this one is very much focused on pinky rosy shades. But this is a lot like that one in terms of quality. The quality is amazing in this, especially the shimmers. These 4 on the top row are just something else. They are that sparkly type of shimmer with chunkier particles, but the fallout for that type of shadow is very minimal. They adhere so well to the lid and they have so much shine. So whatever they did with that, they really nailed it. Another brand that I would like to see some different kinds of color stories from in this formula. Okay, another palette I picked up, it was the ColourPop Not a Box of Chocolates palette. This one I wouldn't say is a favorite when I compare it to the previous four that I talked about, just because it is such a brown palette. It's very neutral and very brown. It's good for somebody that likes to do this type of eyeshadow every day, to have this range of colors in browns. I personally find monochromatic palettes kind of boring, but I still have to acknowledge the quality of this is good. The shade range is good. They perform well. I like the packaging. It's just a well thought out palette. So this I think is still available, so if you're interested, I do recommend it. Another one that I bought was the Natasha Denona My Dream palette. I've been buying her palettes for a long time. I don't have all of them, but I do have quite a few. And this I think was one of the few neutral palettes that I bought. I think the other one that I bought was the Safari palette, and I didn't like that one so much, and I never really bought another neutral one from her. But this one, I went and I swatched it in store, and it swatched so nicely, and all the colors look so nice together. They pair well together. There's nothing in here that's like way too similar to each other. So just a nice selection of colors and finishes. And I did enjoy the quality of this. It's a lot like all of her other shadows, where the powder mats are kind of that type that stick to the lid and are a little bit harder to blend, but that can be good, because if you're somebody that likes to use a lot of different colors, they don't blend away, and all of the colors will show up well against one another. And there's a variety of shimmers in here. There are smoother shimmers, there are sparklier shimmers, like this one is very sparkly, and there's a couple of creamy formulas, like this one's creamy, and this one. So, oh, and this black is a really nice black. So another nice palette that I purchased in 2022. Alright, and the last one I'm going to talk about is the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 4 palette. Here's what it looks like. This was probably for sure was the most expensive palette I bought. I think it was like around $125. I did buy it though because it does have several multi-chromes in here. It's got different kind of textures in here. So it's got like, these are pressed chrome flakes. So they are, if you're familiar with ColourPop's pressed glitters, they kind of have that feel to them where they're a little bit waxy, and the finish is sparkly in a way where you get like flakes of sparkle. So it's a really nice reflective textured kind of effect you get from it. And then there's these two that are kind of similar to watercolor paints in the way that you use them. So you have to get some water on a brush or use a dropper with a little bit of water to activate these. But it's nice to have like some different types of formulas like that to play with. I didn't really have anything else like that in my collection, so it was a nice addition. And then I have 4 skincare items to talk about here. This first one is, it's just a staple. It's nothing like out of this world. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with this. This is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Gel Cream Moisturizer. It is the fragrance-free version. I'm just including this here because it is a staple for me. I've tried other things to replace this with, and I really haven't found anything that I like better than this. So that's why I'm including it. I think it's a solid product. I enjoy it. It works well for me. And then 2 repurchases. This first one was also a repurchase. Actually, all of these were. Anyway, I bought 2 facial oils that I'd used in the past. This one is the Biossance Squalane and Vitamin C Rose Oil. I use this mainly in the morning, and then I have the Sunday Riley Luna Sleeping Night Oil. I use this in the evening. Sometimes I interchange them and use this one in the daytime. This one is a little bit thicker and more, I want to say moisturizing, but just thicker. This one's a little bit thinner and lighter when my skin's feeling drier, and especially right now, it's like middle of winter. I will sometimes use this both daytime and evening because it does a better job of sealing in moisture. But I feel like my skin's been visibly better since using these two oils, and like for a long time I stopped using them because they are both pretty expensive, but the bottles are pretty big, they last a long time. I can probably get like a year out of this, so I bought them because I figured it was worth it to be happy with my skin, for my skin to be in good condition. And then I also repurchased this. This is the Youth to the People Yerba Mate Resurfacing Energy Facial. It's an exfoliator, basically is what it is. And it combines physical and chemical exfoliants. So for the chemical exfoliants, it has, I forgot the names exactly, there's some enzymes in there. I think papaya, something to do with papaya is in there. And there's also, I believe, lactic acid. So those are the two chemical components. And then there is a physical, probably a couple of physical components in there. And I've used several different exfoliators in the past. I've used chemical only, I've used physical only. And I find this being a combo of both. And the exfoliant is very fine. It's not large, it doesn't feel sharp and jagged. It doesn't leave my skin irritated. And if I'm having like really dry textured skin, this will very quickly reset it and put it back in place. So I use it sparingly. I do interchange this with a cheaper one so I can prolong this one. But this is my favorite one that I have ever used. Okay, and then kind of a random oddball thing I want to include here. This is a soap from Trader Joe's. It is just the lavender triple milled soap. It is in the aisle with all their skincare and shampoos and like that kind of stuff. I think they only have like a handful of different types of soaps, and I just decided to try this one day because it smells really nice. It is lavender. It definitely smells like lavender. This is covered in plastic, and I can smell it through the plastic. It's very strong. So if you are somebody that likes lavender scents and finds that a lot of lavender scented like body products tend to be like super light in smell and it disappears really quickly, this is just, I like it a lot because the scent is very strong, and it's actually got like little bits of lavender in it, so it's kind of has a little bit of a texture to it. And yeah, the scent lasts for most of the time at the bar lasts in the shower, so like when I walk into where my shower is, I smell the lavender. It's like really nice and cleans well. So just a nice little thing to pick up if you're at Trader Joe's. Alright, and then in 2021 and 2022, I did a lot of driving, and I noticed that being out in the sun in my car took a toll on my skin. And for a while I wasn't using sunscreen while I was driving until I realized what was happening. And then I started using whatever cheapest one I could find at Walmart, and that worked for a while, but I just wasn't happy enough with it, how it sat under makeup. And so I kind of went on the hunt to try to find a new sunscreen. And towards the end of 2022, I found a new one that I really like. It is the Australian Gold Botanical Tinted Face Sunscreen. with SPF 50. This is a mineral sunscreen that is tinted. It is kind of like a lotion, like a tinted moisturizer. I'll show you here. So you can see it's got a little bit of tint there. It is very, very sheer. Once you spread it out, you almost don't see it at all. It's almost like it doesn't have any coverage. If I apply 2 layers of this, it's kind of like a light coverage foundation, and that is how I've been using it most of the time. Especially on days when I go to work, I will wear 2 layers of that, and that might be it. I may apply a little bit of powder on top, or like add a little bit of extra makeup, but that has been my go-to like basic face for work days. It doesn't have a scent. It's well, it does have a scent. It's not fragranced, but it does have a scent. It is kind of like a mineral scent. I don't know. It's very, very light. It's hard to notice, and it feels very lightly moisturizing. It's not greasy at all or oily. My skin doesn't get shiny during the day when I'm wearing this more than it would like normally just with skincare. It works under makeup, not all makeup. There are some foundations that don't sit well on top of it, especially like matte finish foundations. But most of my foundations and concealers get along with this, which is something I really like about it. So super happy with this. I recommend it if you are looking for a new sunscreen, especially for your face. So previously, before I was using that one, I was using this one. This is the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint, and this has SPF 40. It is also a mineral sunscreen that is tinted. I would say this one has slightly more coverage than that one. It is definitely more expensive. I think it comes in more shades, which is a good thing. So if you like that idea, but you can't find a shade that works for you, you might want to check this one out. This one, it feels heavier. It gets shinier during the day than that one does. For a long time I used it. This was my go-to because I didn't have another one that I liked, and I would still use this one if I didn't have that one. I do mention this because I did repurchase this also in 2022 before I found that one, and I will probably keep using this one as well. For primers, I tried a couple of primers, not too many, but this was I think the first one that I tried at the beginning of the year, and I just tried it because it was new. It was something new from e.l.f. and I was curious, but it ended up being like a dupe for the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip primer, that like really sticky, tacky primer. It's very similar. They're not like 100% identical, but they're probably like 90%, 95% the same. It is a hydrating, smoothing primer, and it does have a grip to it. If you touch your face, it's sticky. I don't find that stickiness makes it harder or easier to apply foundation over it, but I do find that it leaves the skin looking smoother, more plump. It helps to smooth out the look of pores and texture. It doesn't totally erase them or fill them in, but it does definitely make a visible difference. And it leaves the skin looking glowier. So if I'm using like a natural finish foundation, maybe a matte finish foundation, this will add just a little bit of extra glow to it. And not in the form of shimmer. It's like in the form of dew, like moisture. Okay, and then I think this was something I bought last year. It's the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum. I don't think I bought any other new concealers during this year. This might have been the only one, but I bought this because I was able to sample it, because NYX has a huge sampler at Ulta. You can like sample tons of their products. Before that, my go-to product like this was the Benefit Erase Paste. This one has been discontinued, unfortunately and sadly, But I really liked this because it was such a moisturizing, creamy concealer. There's not a lot of concealers out there that are like that creamy and hydrating if you've got like dry under eyes. And when I tried the tester out for this one, I noticed how similar it felt in texture and very moisturizing. And I tend to get dry under eyes just because like I don't drink enough water. I'm not good at remembering to drink water, and so that definitely affects the skin under my eyes. It affects the way that concealer sits on the skin. So I like products like this that are really hydrating. I have noticed that after having this open for a few months, it seems like it's a little bit drier now than it was. It could also just be that my skin is drier. I am in the middle of winter now, so that very well could be. But anyways, this has, I would say like a medium coverage. It's not a super high coverage concealer, but it does have good coverage. I will sometimes use the two together. I'll use the Benefit Erase Base underneath and then add this one on top, and the combo works well together. Sometimes I'll use this as a base and then go over it with something else like the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer that has higher coverage if I'm looking for like really high coverage. But most of the time I use this by itself and it works well. It makes a huge difference. So good product. If you haven't tried it, I recommend trying it out. Okay, another staple kind of product. I don't know. Another product that I tried was the ColourPop Party Proof Eyeshadow Primer. I tried a couple of different primers and I found that I just wasn't finding things that I liked that much. I had one that I really loved a couple years ago, and that was the Alter Ego eyeshadow primer. I used that for a long time, and it was just like this not very well known brand. Like I still think a lot of people don't know about Alter Ego. They were, they're still around, but they are known for duping Natasha Denona palettes. And they sent me the primer along with a couple of palettes like a couple years ago, and the primer was like an extra little thing, but it ended up being such a like major thing that I depended on because I really loved that primer, and I hadn't found one to replace it that was like a well-known mainstream brand. So I just kept trying new ones out and I came across this one. So this one kind of almost takes its place. I really do like this one. It's up there in how much I like it. It's, let me catch my breath. So this one's kind of a little bit drier in texture. It doesn't feel moisturizing, and when I go to pull the wand out, not a whole lot comes out on the wand. I sometimes have to dip back in a couple times to like fully get enough product, but it's it does feel very lightweight. It feels almost like a mattifying kind of product. It dries down to like a silky kind of feel. I feel like it does create like a good barrier between the oils in my skin on the lid and the shadows that I set on top of it, so that it does noticeably prolong wear of eyeshadow. I can get like up to several extra hours of wear just by wearing this underneath my eyeshadows. It has gotten along with most of the palettes and eyeshadows I've paired with it. I don't feel like it leaves too tacky of a surface to blend eyeshadows over. There are some formulas that are harder to blend. So things like Natasha Denona mattes are notoriously hard to blend. That doesn't make them bad shadows, it just means you maybe have to approach them a little bit differently. But things like that type of formula are a little bit more difficult with this primer, or just any primer in general. But for the most part, I found that this gets along with most of my eyeshadows. And if you're looking for a good primer, you've got oily lids, you might want to check this one out. Whew. Oh my god, this video is going on forever. So I picked up another primer. This is the NYX Glitter Primer. It's like a glitter glue, glitter base for like loose glitters or very sparkly, shimmery eyeshadows that kind of have a lot of fallout, you can use this underneath. Before this, I was using the Too Faced glitter glue, and I checked on their website and it looks like they may have discontinued that product. I did like that product a lot, and for a long time this one and that one both existed side by side. A lot of people referred to this one as a dupe for that one, as a cheaper alternative, and I just never bought it because I didn't need to, because I already had the Too Faced one. But it got to a point where that one was getting so old and I just needed a new one, so I went and got this one, and I like this one just as much. I would say this one is a little bit less sticky, less dry, but it works just as well. It adheres just as well. So if you need a product like that for like sparkly, glittery eyeshadows, loose glitters, like that type of thing, like this is a nice thing to have. I don't know of too many alternatives. I'm sure there are some out there, but I don't know of that many. But this one's affordable and I like it. Another kind of staple product is the L'Oreal Voluminous Noir Balm Mascara. I tried this one early in the year, and it was kind of like, what did I try early this year that was just like something like this one? I tried early in the year. I didn't really have any expectations. I tried it because it was a new product and I was curious. Same thing with this one. And it ended up being something I really liked, and at this point I need to buy a new one because it's drying out. It's like barely coats my lashes anymore, but it was such a nice mascara. It is supposed to be one that is a little bit more of like a cream moisturizing mascara that doesn't get crunchy and dry. It's supposed to be nourishing to the lashes. I don't know how true all of that is. I do know that it doesn't get crunchy on the lashes. It feels pretty like supple, if you know, if that's a word you want to use. My lashes feel pretty flexible. It separates well. It doesn't feel clumpy. It doesn't feel too wet. It doesn't apply too heavily. I can build it up slowly in layers, and it doesn't affect curl. So it doesn't add curl to my lashes, but it doesn't uncurl them. If I use a lash curler, which I do every time I put mascara on, it doesn't uncurl them. It keeps the curl all day long. It does flake a little bit and it will smudge a little bit, especially if my skin's getting really oily. But it's not terrible, and it's something that I'm okay with because I liked all the other aspects of this product. So another nice one to check out. Alright, this video is getting so long. I promise I don't have that many things left to talk about. So, the next things I have are two brow products. One I bought early on. I reviewed it a long time ago. This is the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Pen. It is a lot like the ABH Brow Pen. It's like a marker with a brush tip, and it just draws very fine lines. Comes in several shades, so when I looked at the shade range, it looks like there's a little bit of everything there. It's something for everyone. I appreciate that. It is affordable. It's I believe it was like around $11 or $12 or so, something around that range. It has 1 milliliter. I've had this one for, I want to say like 9 or 10 months now, and it's still going very strong. I don't think I'm going to run out anytime soon. You really don't need a whole lot of product to draw your brows unless you're drawing them on completely. I only fill in like a few little sparse areas, so I feel like this could last me for like another year at least. I find it, this is not like the best product in the world. It's not a perfect product, but it's really something I don't, besides the ABH pen, I don't have another product like it. There are other products like this on the market, but this one is affordable. It comes in a lot of colors. It's easy to find. I think most places that carry NYX probably carry this. and it's just such a useful, what is the word I'm looking for? Precise. It's a precise product. So if you you've used powders and pencils and things like that, those things work, but if you want to draw something like 1 or 2 missing hairs, like, and that's all you want, like, this can do that. And that's what I appreciate most about this type of product. And as long as they make them, I'm going to have one in my collection. Another brow product is one that's almost brand new to me. I just got it, but I like it so much that I want to include it here. It is the Milani Stay Put Liquid Brow Wax. Just comes in a little tube like this. It looks like a brow gel. When this came out, I almost passed over it and decided not to get it just because, like, I said to myself, I don't need another brow gel. I've got a couple of them. They all work the same. I just don't need another one. But I decided to give it a try anyway, and I'm glad I did. This is not a brow gel. It is actually like a liquid wax. And I'll try to show you my brows. I don't know if it's going to show up very well the way that I did them. But this has more hold than a brow gel does. It will hold them up almost as well as a brow soap. So if you've done soap brows and you know how that will hold the hairs against the skin all day long, it's a strong product. This is kind of up there. It's not quite that level of hold, but if you apply it heavily, you can almost get to that point. It's very versatile in that way. You can have a very light hold or very heavy hold depending on how heavily you apply it. The brush is, it's a nice spoolie. So if I compare it to like just a regular spoolie, it's just a lot finer, a lot more bristles closer together. So I feel like it spreads the hairs out in a way that makes your brows kind of look a little bit thicker than they are. And then if you are brushing them up, that can add like volume to your brows too. And then once you fill them in, like, it's like you got a whole new set of brows. So I found that this works well with brow powders. It works well with this. These two things, I use them most days. I really like these two together. I would say one downside is this leaves a little bit of a white cast to the brows, especially if you're looking up close or you're looking at your brows from an angle and the light's hitting just right. You might see like a little bit of a white cast. It's not super obvious. It doesn't bother me enough to not want to use this because, like, I don't have another product that I like as much as this, so I'm okay with that. Alright, I have 3 more products to talk about. I'm so tired. I want to be done. So, these are kind of, I didn't use these a whole lot, and I don't think you can even get them anymore, which is like, they've got these little stickers on them to remind me they are possibly discontinued. I don't know. I think you may be able to find these like on Amazon or some other sites like that that tend to carry like discontinued stuff for a while. I think Walmart does the same. But these are the L'Oreal Matte Signature Eyeliners. I don't know how many colors they came in. It might have been like 2 or 4. I'm not sure, but I found these when I was on the hunt for a burgundy eyeliner. At the time I was using an old one from Tarte that was like a limited edition holiday liner, and I wanted to find one that I could recommend that was still currently available. And when I bought this, it was currently available, and unfortunately it's not now that I know of. And I bought the blue one too, and these turned out to be such nice eyeliners. They're very pigmented. The product is pretty fluid, so it flows really nicely off of this applicator. It's just like a felt tip applicator, but it's very precise. This one especially is interesting. This burgundy one, it's got like little micro sparkles in it. It's not glitter, which is weird because it's supposed to be matte, and it kind of is matte, but it's got those little sparkles in them. It's just a really unique shade. So if you are able to find this, I do recommend it. And this blue one's also really nice. It's like a vivid cobalt blue. a swatch here. Alright, there's that blue eyeliner and that burgundy one up top. So these are, again, discontinued, but I do recommend them if you're able to find them. And then I got almost the whole range of Benefit blushes. I've been buying these blushes for a long time. They're boxed blushes. Before these, Rockateur was my favorite one that they had. I still have it and use it. I think they discontinued it. Why? I don't know. That was like, a lot of people love that blush. I hope they bring it back. The same with the erase paste. Like, why discontinue such staple, such loved products? Like, I don't get that, but okay. Anyway, out of the new colors that they released, these are the 3 that, there's 4 actually that I liked. What's the other one that I used? Well, it doesn't matter. So I have Sunny here. Sunny is like a matte peachy apricot. It's a really nice, bright, kind of a unique blush shade. I like it just for like a really bright cheek. It's not too out there, but it adds some life. This other one is called Willa, and this one is probably the one that is most similar to Rockateur. It is not the same. It's not a dupe, but it is the most similar. It's the most like neutrally pinky kind of almost natural looking blush. And then there's Shelly, which is kind of like a combo of Willa and Sunny. It is a bright peachy color, but this one is not matte. It's got a little bit of a shimmer to it. And then the other one that I don't know where I set it is Butterfly, which is like a bright orange. It's a beautiful orange blush. Mine came broken. I still used it that way. It's still very usable, even broken. I just have to be careful with the way I open it so I don't spill all the little crumbly particles out. And then I think this is the last one. This last one is an honorable mention. It's not a favorite. But I do like it a lot. It's just there's things about it that I don't like. So this is the Patrick Ta Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder. So it's a dual product. Got a cream foundation here and a setting powder here. I wouldn't. It could be a blotting powder. I don't know. It's a very. The thing I like about this is that it's super quick to apply. So I find foundation, you'd think that it would be a quick process to apply and blend out foundation, but it always takes me longer than I think it's going to take me to like get a good full even coverage that looks like it's well blended and that spreads out easily and blends out easily. But for some reason it takes me a long time. And so the thing that I like most about this is how fast it is to apply. It is super creamy. It like almost spreads itself over the skin. It's just so easy to apply. But that is kind of its downside. It is a little bit too creamy for me. I have a combo skin type. I can get kind of oily midday, so this doesn't really agree with my skin type. And the powder does take shine away, but it doesn't help extend the wear of the foundation any. It like within an hour the shine's already coming back. But other than that, if I just want like something super quick to slap on and like I want good coverage and I want it fast, like this is something I can go to for that. I just know going into it it's not going to last me all day. Alrighty, that was a really long video and it's been a while since I recorded, and if you've watched some of my old videos, if you've been with me for a while, like you know I'm not very good on camera. I don't talk well on camera. I'm an anxious person and that doesn't translate well on camera. Over the past year or so I've overcome a lot of anxiety. but it's still definitely with me, and it's still something I struggle with. Today I'm struggling with it trying to record this. But anyway, I hope that the things that I showed you today were helpful and that you've found some things that maybe you're interested in trying and adding to your life. And if you like this type of video where I talk like about a group of products instead of focusing in on one, let me know. Maybe I can incorporate more of that type of video instead of one product focused videos on this channel. And if you've been with me this entire time and watched the whole video, thank you for spending your time with me. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.